these are some bonus tools I really think you ought to have, and they didn't really fit in any of those 5 categories. Welcome to the Hillbilly RV channel. Today, we are going to be talking about the top 5 tool groups that you need to keep in your RV. The types of tools that you carry in your RV depends a lot on your abilities, your mechanical ability, your electrical ability, carpentry ability, just your DIY level. Okay, if you have 0 DIY abilities, do us all a favor. Don't carry any tools. Call somebody, because someone with a tool that don't know what they're doing can make more of a mess than they can possibly fix, and it just ends up costing you more in the long run. So do us all a favor. If you have 0 ability, carry 0 tools. Okay, so this video is probably going to be tailored more to the DIYer who, does some things for themselves. Okay, because if you're a full-fledged DIYer, you already know what kind of tools you want to carry. You want to carry everything, and that's awesome. I mean, I've had customers that have big 5th wheels with full toolboxes in the storage area and stuff. So totes and totes and totes of tools. And that's awesome. But if you don't know how to change a light bulb, you don't need any tools. I can't even tell you leave them at home, because you probably don't have it at home either. So it's just tailor the tools and the group of tools that you carry to your ability. Okay, because seriously, if you don't fix anything at home, you're not going to fix anything on your RV. You're not going to fix anything on the road. So just don't do it. Okay, so let's just get started. Like I said, groups of tools, not individual tools. And some of these will be in my Amazon store. So if you want to go check that out, if you're going to buy something, you're going to buy it from Amazon anyway, go to my store, go through there. Don't cost you any extra. Amazon throws me a few pennies every month if you buy something. So it's a win-win for everybody. I'm not going to put each and every individual tool in there, because what would happen is, I've already got quite a few things on my tool page, and it's several pages. It just makes it hard to find stuff. So, all right. First meter is just a multimeter. So if you've been around my channel for a little while, you know that my trusty old 30-some-year-old fluke meter died, and I ended up just buying another fluke meter. But you don't have to buy a fluke. You can buy a cheap meter. I just like, man, I hope it's not scratches on that screen. Huh. Must be. Wow, I should have left a screen protector on there. Maybe I did. I don't know. Anyhow, you don't have to have an expensive meter. I had a meter that I was using, and I just didn't like it. It was too slow. So I ended up getting a fluke meter. I think this fluke meter, the 17B Plus, is in my Amazon store. And I know that these leads are test leads. I like this set because it comes with the sharp probes and also the alligator clips. So if you're doing a lot of electrical work, do yourself a favor, get you a decent meter. Now you can go a different direction too. You can go this direction, because a clamp meter, something that will test amperage, is good to have too. And now these test leads will work on this meter, so you only need one good set of test leads. But yeah, you do check AC and DC. You check AC and DC amperage with this, and it's also a multimeter. Now, the only thing is, I think this is a great clamp meter. This is a Craftsman, and I actually bought this from Sears, so that'll probably tell you how old this is. It works fantastic to read AC amperage, but DC amperage, not so much. It just doesn't work well. So I've got this meter that I'll pull out if I need to read AC amperage. I've got another clamp meter that I'll pull out if I need to read DC amperage, and then this is my go-to for just about everything else. Okay, and this will read amperage too. I don't really know how to do it because it's so easy to pop a fuse inside the meter when you're trying to read amperage. So I just mostly use it for AC and DC voltage. So there's your group of meters. Oh, the screen protector is still on there, so I'm gonna leave it on there for a while because obviously I'm too hard on it. Group number 2. So the next group is just a group of wrenches. Okay, let me turn y'all down, show you what I'm talking about. No self-respecting DIYer would be caught dead without some wrenches. Now, what kind of RV you have will really determine what kind of wrenches you're going to need. If you're in a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, probably just a good set of SAE wrenches is all you're going to need. Very little metric hardware in a towable RV. Okay. Now, if you're in a motorhome, you probably should have a set of SAE and a set of metric. Pretend like there's a set of metric wrenches here. You know what? I mean, you're never going to have, I mean, just a good set. This is from probably 1/4 to 1 inch. And this is some of my old school Craftsman wrenches right here with some few extra added in. But just a good set of wrenches will do you good. You know, SAE and perhaps metric. And an adjustable wrench or two. And that way you'll have a wrench that fits everything. All right, that brings us to group number 3. That's going to be sockets. Let me get some stuff laid out here and we'll talk about that. You really ought to have a set of sockets. These are 1/4 inch drive, and any set you have is going to come with a ratchet, an extension or two, maybe even a driver handle. You're going to have shallow well sockets. You're going to have deep well sockets. There again, if you're in a towable RV, probably SAE sockets are all that you're going to need. Okay, if you're in a motorhome, you probably want to get a set that has metric sockets as well. There's the 1/4 inch. Those are probably what you're going to use the most, to be honest with you. But you might as well complement it with a set of 3/8 drive, shallow well and deep well sockets, ratchet, a couple extensions, and you know, the 1/2 inch drive stuff, I didn't get any out. To be honest with you, about the only time I use my 1/2 inch drive stuff is to get plugs out of water heaters. Because, you know, seems like nobody ever uses a socket and an extension and a ratchet to get those plugs out. They'll use everything else, and if it's a Dometic or an Atwood, you know, it's got a nylon plug, and they will just destroy that plug. So do yourself a favor, get you a set of sockets, and you'll be ready to make repairs when needed. Group number 4, screwdrivers. And in screwdrivers, I'm going to include a drill. Okay, let's look at that. If you are much of a DIYer, you really ought to have a set of screwdrivers, all the way from like regular screwdrivers to stubbies. You'd be surprised how often you'll need a stubby screwdriver. And of course, if you have an RV, you need number 2 Robertsons. That's the most important screwdriver of all. And I do recommend you have a drill with bits. And that way you'll have, Phillips and number 2 Robertson and number 2 Phillips, number 1 Phillips, and so on and so forth. The drill will come in super handy for a lot of different things. Of course, you'll be able to drive screws, but you can also get just a set of sockets that will go in your drill, or you can get an adapter for your 3/8 and your 1/4 inch to go in your drill, and you can just put regular sockets on that then, okay? But yeah, just a good set of screwdrivers, might as well have a drill. And I'm saying drill because there's some things that people do on their RVs with an impact driver that really should be a drill, okay? You can do a lot less damage with a drill on some things than you can an impact driver. Yeah, I've seen it happen. Tool group number 5, pliers. Let me show you some I've got laid out here. Do yourself a favor, get you a nice set of pliers. You'll have just your regular slip joint, maybe a needle nose, side cutter. Very important if you're doing plumbing. For me, is a good pair of channel locks, vice grips. Now, if you're going to do any electrical work, you need a good set of crimpers and strippers, okay? Everybody has their particular version of what's best. I just like the old school crimper stripper, okay? Yeah, there's a lot of fancy stuff out there on the market, but I like the old school stuff. It's worked for me for a long time. And so you get whatever you prefer. Now, if you're gonna have crimpers, strippers, that must mean you're gonna do some electrical. You might as well have a set of connectors. You don't have to have a set like this. But yeah, we've got butt connectors, yellow, blue, red. We got ring terminals, small and large, and yellow and blue. We've got, I was trying to get blue ring terminal. We've got heat shrink stuff in here. And of course, my new fave is Wygos. Set of Wygos. Now I know I've got Wygos in my Amazon store. Okay? And I think there might be a small set of terminals, butt and ring, and these also comes with, mine has spade connectors, just a lot of different electrical connectors. And of course we got the old school wire nuts. Somebody one time on a video gave me a bunch of grief because I called that a wire nut. They basically told me I was an idiot for calling that a wire nut. Well, the people that make it call it a wire nut. I don't know what that guy's dealio was, but yeah, he pretty much called me an idiot because I called it a wire nut. Some people just got nothing else better to do, I guess. Well, folks, there is your 5 group of necessary tools. I think, it's my opinion. You know what they say, everybody's got an opinion. I've got one too. That's my 5 groups of tools that you need to carry in your RV if you are a DIYer. All right, time for a bonus round. Now, these are some bonus tools I really think you ought to have, and they didn't really fit in any of those 5 categories. So let's see what I've got for you in the bonus round. In the bonus round group, we've got a hammer. I mean, you can't hardly go wrong with a claw hammer. If you need to beat the crap out of something, you can do it. If you need to pry something, you can do it. If you need to pull a nail out, you can do it, okay? But mainly you just use it to beat the crap out of stuff. Then once you beat the crap out of it, and you can nobody can fix it, then you call an expert, and they can just replace it. Next thing is a tape measure, okay? Whether it's a 5 foot, 10 foot, 25 foot, 50 foot, don't really matter. You'd be surprised how many times I have been talking to a customer and they go, you know, I need to talk to you about a window. I said, great. What size is the window? I don't know. It's like, you know, I don't know, yay big, whatever. And just grab your tape measure, measure it out. Tell the guy it's 18 by 24. And that way he's better prepared, okay? Or if you need to measure something, that's awesome too. And a light, or 2, or 3. You just can't go wrong with a good light, whether it's rechargeable cordless, whether it's an old incandescent that takes batteries, Evereadys or whatever. You owe it to yourself to have a good light. Well, there you have it, folks. There is my 5 must-have tool groups to carry in your RV, plus a bonus round. Let me know in the comments below what I should have included, what I should not have included. Just let me know, because I'm sure that everybody on here has an opinion. So let's hear your opinion. And if you would feel the desire to help this channel financially, check out the links below. There will be a link to my Patreon page. You can become a Patreon patron. You can become a patron there. And I try to do a behind the scenes video every week to post on there just for my patrons. So check that out. You know, even if you don't go to the Patreon, check out everything else going on down there. All kinds of links to different things. And I think that is it for me today. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time. Y'all, be handy out there. Go fix stuff. Don't just beat the crap out of stuff. Go fix stuff. Catch y'all later. If you do 0 repairs around the house, you should have 0 tools in your RV. Carry no tools. 0.